All right. This week, we are back with another presentation. We're going to cover one of our marketing campaigns and establishing the new norm, more than just talk. You'll see this is from a conference back in 2015. At the time, we were still in a drought and nobody had really talked about changing behaviors as a means of water conservation. That was a pretty new and novel idea. So I wanted to highlight for the attendees some of the ways that Long Beach was doing that, because we really were a little bit ahead of the curve on that one. So I like this as our first slide. I like that it's not just tear out your grass, get rid of your grass, right? It's kick your grass habit. Obviously a little pun in there, but there really is a whole set of behaviors, right, that have become habits. They have been habitualized, and that is what keeps grass around. Grass doesn't do particularly well here in Southern California on its own, right? It's not native to this area. It's not really adjusted for our climate. If we weren't here watering it and fertilizing it and, weeding it and doing all these things, it might not survive on its own. So it's really the humans that are the issue, right? It's the behavior that keeps the grass here that we can control. So that's I think that's a pretty good ad on sort of a deeper level. The second one here, this has our sort of iconic little stop wasting water sign. This was on the vast majority of our advertising during that period. And it was just really simple slogan, just stop wasting water. If the person maybe didn't understand the ad or take anything else away from it, at least hopefully they got stop wasting water. Those little stop signs were all over town on buses and bus stops and just billboards everywhere. So that was kind of the crux of our campaign. But again, here there's a behavior, right? There's a person doing something that's not very smart. And we're trying to draw the comparison that maybe wasting water isn't particularly smart. So kind of like that. Again, it's all about the human behavior. This next one, you'll see, we're trying to sort of establish the fact that saving water is somewhat of a group effort, right? That we need other people to participate. So there is now a culture of water savers. In this case, they're identified by their dirty cars, but that it's something that is now becoming the social norm. Here we go, another one that's, got a little pun in it. This summer, brown is the new green, orange is the new black, what have you. So again, our little stop wasting water sign. I killed my lawn on purpose and my yard has never looked better. I don't know, not the greatest, but we got our little sign again. You can see again, there is a human behavior, right? The person killed the lawn. There was an active thing that occurred. A conscious decision was made. We did a lot of those ads, to advertise our lawn to garden program, which was huge at the time. We had even upped the dollar amount to, you'll see there, $3,500. That was the amount for 1,000 square feet of turf removed. It was $3.50 per square foot. And you'll see that I think the lawn, or the garden rather, that's there, that's pictured, is really beautiful. And that was where our program differed from a lot of others. We had a lot of quality control built into our program. So we personally approved every single design and every single plant list that was used in these projects. I can attest to it. personally. So not just that, we helped the customers. We answered questions. We connected them with professionals. We had landscaping classes. We had design consultations with professional designers at reduced rates. We partnered with local nurseries to make sure that they were carrying these plants and also would give our customers a discount. There was a lot of work done on this program just to ensure that these gardens looked good. We inspected them once they were done. Before we cut them the check, we went out there and made sure that they actually installed a garden that looked good. Now, we couldn't say, hey, I don't like your design, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. But we built into the program certain things that kind of guaranteed that the gardens would look decent, if not really good. So I think the majority of them did look very good when they were installed. And I think that maintenance has been a little bit of a challenge for some. So now that they've been in the ground 4 or 5 years, they're starting to look maybe a little overgrown. But that's a maintenance issue, right? That's something that the humans have to keep up with, not a plant issue. So each of those gardens was really serving as sort of a demonstration garden, right? That's why in the program can only do front yards, right? We didn't want backyards because we wanted maximum visibility. And like I said, we wanted them to be beautiful. So each one was, in a sense, an advertisement. In the middle of the program, we even got yard signs that advertised that garden had participated in our program. So we saw it a lot. We saw it a whole lot, where one neighbor on the block would do it, and then another neighbor on the block would do it, and then somebody on the next block over would do it. And it just kind of seemed like maybe people were a little bit hesitant to be the first one on their block. But as soon as you had one, you would see others pop up. So this map is actually overdue for an update. There's far more than 2,800 people who have applied. At this point, it's probably closer to 7,000 people who have applied. But you'll see it actually is fairly well spread throughout the city. The only sort of open patches you'll see are either the university or the VA or the airport or Signal Hill or the port. So otherwise, it's pretty well spread in communities where income is lower, in communities where income is higher. That didn't make a ton of difference as far as who applied, right? Seemed like applications were pretty well spread. I will tell you, this is something that I covered in my master's thesis, that while the applications were fairly well spread throughout the city, the completion rate was not. So everybody applied, but not everybody was able to finish their project. And we did see a higher dropout rate in areas of lower average income. So income does have something to do with it, but I think the idea here is that we did generate a lot of interest in this program. Here, you'll see a map with completions. You'll see it does get a little sparser in certain areas. This could stand to be updated. Sorry about that. Here's another example. Just wanted to show that, we really worked hard at making these gardens look beautiful. Each one was like a little showpiece. And, they look beautiful. They don't all look the same. There's a lot of variation in there. And we let customers have a lot of control over which plants they used, how it was designed, if they wanted to add paths, if they wanted to use flagstone over here or brick. That was really very much up to them. Or mulch. You can see that. So we actually use these as a tour. So another little way to generate interest in the program, we actually took a day and had the homeowners who had done the projects available at their sites. And we had customers go from site to site and learn firsthand what it was like to participate in the program. I'm always surprised, to be honest, shocked that this event is so popular. We still do it to this day because it's just really widely attended. I mean, we've had, I think last year there were like 1,000 people who did this thing. Now granted, they might not go to all of the homes because it's a self-guided tour. They can pick and choose which ones they want to go to, but we just had a ton of people interested in it. So we'll talk about it more when we get to landscape conversions. There's a nice little video that goes along with it. But for now, just realize that these gardens also served as sort of a marketing piece for us. So again, start making a difference today. Another little pun there. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. But start making a difference today. I think that's pointing out that, this is something that's within our control to some degree. It's something that you can make a difference in, right? It's kind of an empowering statement. Again, because it is based on human behavior, largely. So don't ignore it. Stop wasting water. I would not really encourage this second advertisement here because, as you already heard me say, there's a good amount of maintenance involved with these lawn to garden projects. So yes, you may not be using a mower any longer, but I would not say that there's no yard work. There's actually quite a bit of yard work with some of these. It's just a different type of yard work. So there you have it. Running your sprinklers in the rain makes as much sense as using your blow dryer in the wind. True. I agree. Just trying to paint that picture that it's a human behavior that's as ridiculous as this one. So, on our website, this is all very prominently pictured on the very front page during the drought for all the years of it. And to this day, it's not quite as visible, but it's still up there. So, we had rebates. We had mandatory water use restrictions. We had the beautiful Long Beach Lawn to Garden program. So lots of stuff going on there. We also had an app. You already heard a little bit with the AMI project about customers reporting other customers who had consistently violated the water use prohibitions. So I think I explained that at first, that really is just an education campaign. So we get a report on an address where people were potentially wasting water, right? I say potentially because we didn't witness it. It's just a report that we received anonymously. So we would send a letter to that address saying, we have received an unconfirmed report that, there may be water waste going on this property. As a reminder, these are the water use prohibitions. If you have any questions, please contact us. If you need assistance, here's our website, etc., etc. Okay? So, it wasn't really out there to just find people. We actually find very few people. Fewer than 10. It was really an education campaign. So we got a lot of coverage for that because we had mandatory water use restrictions long before most agencies did. Eventually, our restrictions, I think, helped pave the way for the mandatory restrictions that came down from the governor. Some of them are almost word for word what we had restricted. But we did it, 4 years before it was mandatory. So kind of interesting. But we got a lot of press for it. So a lot of free advertising. The smart meter project, as you can imagine, that got some press. That was something that hadn't really been done before. So we were on with Conan Nolan, Channel 4. It was pretty interesting. I think my friend from kindergarten called because she said, I just heard something about the Long Beach Water Department on NPR. Is that project you're working on? So it was kind of cool to be part of something that was newsworthy. So definitely a strong community presence. That's me as a lowly little intern over there with Conservin' Mervin, the mascot, and then over there at a community event. So Long Beach has a ton of community events. I love that about our city. And I definitely have been to a lot of them representing the water department. I still do it to this day. I am out there some Saturdays. And our employee interaction, right? Our customer service people, they're out there every day. They're the ones who get that face-to-face interaction with our customers. And during the drought, and still, it has been very important that they carry a message of good water service, high-quality water service, but also water conservation. And I think they did an excellent job. So it was great to see the whole department come together on that. So water conservation is the solution. At this point, we had a 34% reduction in water use per person per day in Long Beach. That was massive. That still is massive. Now, I'll tell you, I believe it has rebounded very slightly. I still think we're under 30%. So it's pretty amazing. Or I'm sorry, over 30%. We had tons of media releases. We were breaking conservation records every month. It was fantastic. We got a lot of press. And we just try to keep that message out there. So that's our presentation for this week. I'm going to give you guys a lot of time, hopefully, to work on your audits. So there isn't a ton of reading this week. I'm also going to make a fairly short quiz for you guys tomorrow. So shouldn't be too bad, but definitely focus on those audits. If you have questions about them, feel free to email me. Not a problem. All right.